This is the ReoLink Home Hub Pro. Now what this is this acts as a network video recorder for all of your ReoLink cameras. Inside here, you can pop in a hard drive, and it comes with a 2 terabyte drive. So we install this and put it inside of the Home Hub Pro and then connect it to the network. Now thank you ReoLink for sending the Home Hub Pro as well as the TrackMix Wi-Fi. Now be sure to watch the whole video just in case you have any problems along the way. You know what to expect and how to resolve the issues. Now the drive needs to be in the correct orientation for installing. So where you see this press button, if we have this on its side, you're gonna have the label towards yourself. And then we've got 3 screws on each side. Now that we have the drive inside of the tray, it'll just slide right in. Then attach the cover. On the back, you can see there is a LAN and WAN connection.
We're going to take the cable and plug it over to the WAN port and then plug in the power. Now, if the Home Hub was close enough to a television, you can also connect an HDMI directly from here to view your NVR right from the television.
After giving it a moment to boot up, we've got the ReoLink app. I scanned the QR code on the back, and now we give it a password. Now I'm keeping illegal login lockout enabled. And what that does is if somebody tries to log in with invalid credentials multiple times, it will temporarily block that connection. I'll hit next, and we give the device a name, and next again, and I'll save the QR code for later on. Now we can set the encryption code if we want to enable. And because the drive is encrypted, even if somebody stole the drive or the unit, they won't be able to access the data that's on it without the encryption key. We'll hit done. Now we'll start using the Home Hub. Next, I'm going to take this camera and connect power to it and then get it connected over to the Home Hub Pro. Now I've connected the camera with the Ethernet cable over to the LAN in port on the back of the Home Hub Pro. And now I'm going to connect in the power for the camera. Now the reason for this is you need the Ethernet cable for the initial connection, and they do include that in the box. So once we have this connected up and attach the power, you can see it's booting up, then we will be able to...
Successfully.
I guess it was that simple. It just added itself. Interesting. Yep. So I just went into settings and came right back, and it showed right up. Nice. All right, so it is now on the Wi-Fi network that it created automatically on its own. Unplug the Ethernet. All right, cool. It still sees it. Perfect. So now we can see that the camera is fully functioning already and on Wi-Fi. Now, before we hook this up, I'm going to remove the cover for the micro SD card slot, and we will install a micro SD card before we get this connected over to the Hub Pro. Be sure to pay attention to the orientation here as we take the cover off, and then we will take the card in the same orientation and put that right inside. There we go. Now we'll replace the cover. So we'll just screw it back in, hook up the power and boot it up and get it set up. So I got this plugged in, and we'll see what it does when it boots up. So we come into the app and hit the plus and then add device. I found other devices already on the network, which is cool. We come back and just do scan. Here we select the method on how this is going to be connected to the Home Hub. Since it's a wireless camera, I will hit Wi-Fi connection, and it says power on the device. Next. Technically, because the Home Hub is a router in itself, I'm going to select not in the same LAN because I'm connected to the Wi-Fi of the house that I'm at and not on the Wi-Fi of the Home Hub. So then I'll select Wi-Fi connection. Next. All right. Now we just got to wait for this other device to come online. And then I'm going to relocate the Home Hub Pro, as well as do what I call a beta test with the cameras, where I'm going to just plug them into power outside and make sure that they can reach before I install these on the house. I'm going to start off by walking you through a few practical tips and helpful pointers for getting your camera installed properly, whether it's your first time or you're just looking to do it right the first time. Think of this as a quick guide to make setup simple. To make it easier to follow along, I will also be showing the actual installation process step by step and using clear visuals and explanations, and you'll see where and how everything goes. Now, the exception to that is the install over the garage. I ran into a handful of challenges in which I'll cover that at the end of the video. Once the cameras are in place, we'll move straight into reviewing the real-world footage captured by them so you can see the quality for yourself. You'll get a feel on how they perform day and night. There will be 2 cameras in this setup, each placed strategically for both security and coverage. One will watch the backyard and the pool, and the other keeps an eye on the front street. Perfect for tracking deliveries, cars, or unexpected visitors. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding on how to install, position, and evaluate footage from both cameras. It's part tutorial and part demo, all practical. So I went outside with the camera here and I got it plugged in and it is booting up. We want to make sure that the range is able to reach this camera where we plan on installing it. So I'm going to be installing it probably just directly above me. And we'll give it a few minutes for it to try to latch on. There it is here. Now, since it'll reach, I'm going to grab a ladder and start installing it. So quick pro tip, when installing, they give you these templates and it's actually 2 on a page and you can cut it off and it is a sticker. So you just stick that to whatever you're going to be mounting it to. Now, I want you to look and pay attention to how these holes are different. Now, these are the screws that it comes with. So as you can see, this holds it just fine, like so. If I take this screw, see it actually comes all the way through. So you want to drill pilot holes where this little piece is right here, and then a pilot hole there. And that way this will slip in like that, and then you tighten it, and then put the other screws in through here. So I'm going to take this sticker, and before installing it, I cleaned this up top here so it will stick. And one other thing is, if you don't have eye protection, wear sunglasses. And we're going to drill right in the center of each of the smaller holes first, just to make a pilot hole. And then again, where I showed you on the camera. There we go. Now it's time to install the camera. So now before putting up this camera, I'm going to put 2 screws right into here, and then this will just clip right in. So now these should just slip right over. And then we just got to screw in the other 2 screws, and then we're ready for power. Basic cable management. And we'll clean that up later and run the rest of the power. Now there's one last thing that I almost forgot to do here. That will make it clear. This is about 5 feet away. This is about 10 feet away. This is about 15 feet away. And this is about 20 feet away. Quick pro tip, before you start installing, make sure that you have wireless coverage to each and every one of your cameras before you climb up on the ladder. Otherwise, you might have to move the router inside of the home or business, and that can complicate things. Now, because this is going to go outside of the garage, I went ahead and closed the garage door because that is going to affect the signal of the Wi-Fi. So I'm going to start drilling here over the garage. Now there is a board right behind the wall here, so I'm going to have to drill off to the side. There we go. Now I'm going to go grab some string and tape it to the other side and pull that through. After, I make sure that the outer diameter is big enough for the power cord. Not quite. I'm about 5 feet away. About 10 feet away. I'm about 15 feet away. Now about 20 feet away. Now I'm about 25 feet away. I'm about 5 feet away. Now I'm about 10 feet away. Now I'm about 15 feet away. And now I'm about 20 feet away. Now I'm about 25 feet away. Earlier I mentioned I had some challenges when I was drilling through the exterior wall into the garage, and let me show you what problems I was having. The drill bit I had, although it was long enough, wasn't thick enough in diameter for the power cable to fit through it because the barrel was just a little bit too big. So what I ended up doing is cutting a hole in the wall because there are 2 boards that I needed to go through before it hit the exterior. After running the cable through the exterior wall, I sealed that up to make sure that no moisture gets inside the home. Now, one thing that I discovered after the fact was when you put a micro SD card into the camera itself, if you set it up to work with the Home Hub initially, it does not actually record to the micro SD card. So you have to connect to the camera first, format the micro SD card, and then join it to the Home Hub. And then it will finally record to both the Home Hub and the micro SD card, or from the Home Hub just by tapping a little button in the app on your phone. Now, one other thing is that as soon as you get equipment, you should update the firmware as soon as you get it, as well as periodically check and see if there are more updates. Now, if you click on check for update for the firmware, it was telling me it was already up to date. However, when I went to the ReoLink website, it had a newer version, which I downloaded, unzipped, and then uploaded under maintenance. So who is this for? Well, if you want an easy wireless system to be able to set up for surveillance, this might be something that you might want to take a look at. The visual clarity is great, as you've seen in the video, and it even picks up sound up to distances of about 25 feet or so, as you also heard in the video. Be sure to check out the affiliate links down below in the video description, and if there's any coupon codes, I will put them down below as well. If you'd like to check out some more cameras by ReoLink, click on this playlist.